Have you ever paused and wondered, why this life? Why were you born into this family, in that city, during this time in history? Why do some people show up in your life and absolutely change you, while others just come and go without a ripple? Well, believe it or not, none of it is random. You actually chose it. Before you were even born, your soul made an agreement, a soul contract. It's like you sat down with a blank script and planned out your own life story. You picked your family, your major challenges, the gifts you'd bring into this world, and even the people you'd bump into, both the ones who'd lift you up and the ones who'd shake you to your core. And get this, you weren't just the writer. You were the director and the star of the whole thing too. But here's where it gets interesting. The moment you're born, you forget all of it. A kind of spiritual amnesia kicks in. That's not a bug in the system, it's by design. Because if you remembered everything from the start, how could you grow? Where would free will come in? If life felt like following a script with cheat codes, you wouldn't be making real choices. You wouldn't be developing you. That veil of forgetting, it's actually a gift. It forces you to make decisions from the heart, to develop instincts, to find your own path even when it's messy or unclear. It's like trying to learn how to walk. You can't do it if someone's just carrying you the whole time. But, and this is key, just because you consciously forget doesn't mean the contract disappears. That original soul agreement is still with you. It's stored deep in your subconscious, in your intuition, in those strange dreams you can't explain, and those gut feelings that never seem to steer you wrong. It shows up in symbols, in patterns, in whispers that are easy to miss when you're moving through life on autopilot. And here's something most people don't realize. Your soul contract isn't some rigid life sentence. It's more like a flexible roadmap. You designed it with freedom built in. You can go beyond it. You can expand past what your soul thought was possible when it planned this life. That's the real magic. A lot of people go their whole lives never stopping to ask why they're here. They follow the script handed to them by society. Go to school, get the job, seek approval, avoid failure. They don't question it. They don't listen to that quiet tug inside saying, "Wait, isn't there more?" But you're watching this video, so something inside you is already waking up. That inner knowing, that pull toward remembering, it's real. And this remembering, it isn't about going back and recovering some lost file from your past. It's about waking up to who you really are right now. It's about noticing the signals that have been there all along, little breadcrumbs your soul has been dropping your entire life. Think of it like this: your soul didn't want you to forget forever. It wanted you to forget just long enough to make the remembering powerful. So in this video series, we're going to explore what that remembering really looks like, how your soul speaks to you, how to recognize the clues, the patterns, the nudges, and how to live in alignment with the path you actually chose. Because your soul, it's been whispering this whole time. You just have to learn how to listen. Let's dive into one of the biggest ways your soul communicates with you: synchronicity. You've felt it before. Maybe you were just thinking about someone, and 5 minutes later, they text you. Or you've been stuck in a tough decision, and suddenly you overhear a stranger say exactly what you needed to hear. You see repeating numbers. The same theme keeps showing up in books, shows, songs. It's like the universe is pointing neon signs at you, saying, "Hey, you, pay attention." That's not coincidence. That's soul-level communication. Synchronicities are how your soul and the universe get your attention when logic isn't enough. They're the nudges, the cosmic winks, and they happen more often when you're open to receiving them. Let me tell you a quick story. I was once stuck, torn between two huge life decisions. For 2 full weeks, it felt like the universe was following me around, whispering one message over and over: follow your heart. I heard it in movies, read it in articles, overheard it in random conversations, even saw a little kid playing with toy animals saying, "Follow your heart." I couldn't ignore it. It was everywhere. That's how strong our soul's voice can get when it needs you to listen. Dreams are another major channel. Why? Because in dreams, your rational mind is finally quiet. It's not filtering or doubting. It's not trying to make everything logical. That's when your soul steps in and starts painting messages in metaphor. Recurring dreams? Those are especially powerful. If you keep dreaming of flying, maybe your soul's reminding you that you're meant to rise beyond limitations. If you're always teaching or guiding others in your dreams, maybe you came here to do exactly that. But not every message is symbolic. Sometimes your body gets involved. You walk into a room and instantly feel weird, like you've been there before. Or you meet someone for the first time, but it feels like you've known them forever. Those aren't just feelings. That's your soul memory recognizing something it's experienced before. Then there's intuition. That quiet inner voice that says, something's off here, even when everything on paper looks fine. Or that gut feeling that tells you to go for something that makes zero logical sense, but later turns out to be exactly right. That voice? That's your soul speaking directly. It's not trying to scare you. It's guiding you, always from a place of deep inner knowing. Pay close attention to your emotional reactions too, especially the strong ones. If injustice, even the smallest kind, triggers deep sadness or rage in you, your soul might be calling you toward a mission involving truth or fairness. If you feel overwhelming joy when you're helping someone, that's a clue. Carry just emotions. They're your soul's language. Another big one? Repeating blocks. You keep trying to go down a certain path, career, relationship, lifestyle, but it just never works out. Things keep falling apart. Obstacles keep popping up. That's not failure. That's redirection. Your soul is saying, not this way, try again. And when you are aligned with your purpose, you'll feel it. Things click. Doors open. Opportunities show up. People enter your life at the right moment. It's like everything just flows because it's meant to. Even your fears hold clues. The thing you're most afraid of, it might actually point to what you're here to do. Afraid of public speaking. Maybe you're meant to use your voice to inspire. Fear of abandonment? Maybe your mission involves teaching love and connection. Sometimes our fears are just growth points waiting to be unlocked. And let's not forget the people who come into your life and trigger something big. Maybe they challenge you, or maybe they awaken something in you. Either way, they're mirrors. They show you the parts of yourself that still need healing, or the gifts you've forgotten you had. Even the things you randomly love or feel drawn to, the eras in history, the countries, the music, the ideas, those are clues. They can trace back to past life experiences or soul-level interests tied to your current contract. So how do you start decoding all of this? Start simple. Keep a journal. Track your dreams. Write down the signs, the synchronicities, the repeating numbers, the people who show up during turning points in your life. Notice what stirs your emotions. Listen to what your body says in different environments. Tune in to your gut, even when your brain disagrees. Your soul is always speaking. Are you ready to start listening? Let's talk about patterns. Not just surface-level habits, but the deep, repeating themes in your life. The ones that seem to follow you from relationship to relationship, job to job, chapter to chapter. These patterns are not random. They are clues. They're reflections of your soul contract in motion. Start with your relationships. Have you ever noticed that you keep attracting the same type of person? Maybe they're always emotionally unavailable, or always in need of saving. Or maybe the conflicts are always the same, just with different faces. That's not bad luck. That's a sign. Your soul may have chosen these patterns to help you develop something. Compassion, boundaries, courage, healing. Every recurring dynamic is a reflection of what your soul wants to master. Let's break it down with a few examples. If you always end up being the fixer in your relationships, the one who's there to support, guide, or even rescue others, it's possible your contract involves developing healing abilities. Maybe your mission is to hold space for others' transformation. If you find yourself in relationships where you're constantly standing up for someone else, defending the underdog, being the voice for those who can't speak up, maybe your soul is here to become a protector, a truth speaker, someone who champions justice. If you always end up in the middle of conflict, playing mediator, trying to keep the peace, that might point to a contract centered around harmony, diplomacy, or teaching others how to resolve emotional tension. And this isn't just about love or friendships. Look at your professional patterns too. Are you always drawn to helping professions, nursing, coaching, counseling? Or do you gravitate toward leadership roles, even without trying? Maybe you're the creative one, the problem solver, or the hyper-organized mind in the room. These aren't coincidences. These are breadcrumbs your soul left for you, reminders of what you're here to grow, use, and share. Even your struggles are patterns worth examining. Maybe you've dealt with low self-esteem for as long as you can remember. Maybe you've always struggled financially, or constantly feel like people misunderstand you. These are not punishments, they're purposeful. Imagine your soul like an athlete, one who doesn't train with easy reps. Your soul chooses the hard stuff, because that's where the most growth is. If your path has tested your confidence over and over, your contract may be about developing unshakable self-worth. If life keeps challenging your trust, maybe your soul is working on surrendering control and building deep faith in something bigger. Family patterns are especially telling. What role do you play in your family? Are you the responsible one? The rebel? The peacemaker? The one who holds everyone together? Your family was your soul's first classroom. You chose that dynamic for a reason. Look at your cycles of loss and gain. Do you always get close to something, success, love, stability, only to lose it and start over again? That can feel frustrating, even heartbreaking. But spiritually, it may be your soul working on detachment, teaching you that who you are matters more than what you have. And then there's your body. Yep, physical symptoms can reflect soul patterns too. Constant sore throat? Maybe you're struggling to speak your truth. Chronic back pain? Perhaps you're carrying burdens that don't belong to you. Digestive issues? Your soul might be trying to teach you how to better digest life itself, what to absorb and what to let go. Even your relationship with time holds insight. Are you always early? Always late? Do things always happen just in time or too soon? These may be connected to how your soul experiences control, surrender, and divine timing. The key here is observation without judgment. Your patterns are not flaws, they're feedback, they're messages, they're part of the contract. And when you recognize them, you gain power. You're no longer just in the pattern, you're aware of it. And with awareness comes freedom. So next time you feel like you're stuck in the same loop, pause and ask, what is this trying to teach me? What part of my soul is being shaped through this experience? Your soul is not here for easy, it's here for expansion. And every single pattern you break, every lesson you learn, brings you one step closer to living in full alignment with the life you came here to live. Now that you've started noticing the patterns, the signs, the whispers, what if you could go deeper? What if you could actually access direct information from your soul contract? That's where regressive meditation comes in. It's like opening a private dialogue with your higher self, the version of you that remembers everything. It's not about looking outside yourself for answers. It's about going inward, way inward, and accessing what's already there. Because here's the truth. These memories, they're not lost. They're not hidden in some far-off spiritual vault. They're sitting quietly in the deepest part of your consciousness, waiting for the right moment and the right you to come knocking. So how do you start? First, set the scene. You'll need about 30 uninterrupted minutes. Find a quiet space. Turn off your phone. Let anyone you live with know you're taking some personal time. This isn't just meditation, it's soul communication. Your higher self needs to feel like you're truly present. Lie down in a position that's comfortable, but not too comfortable, You don't want to drift off. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Count to 4. Hold it for 4. Then release for 4. Repeat that at least 10 times. Let your body relax a little more with every exhale. Now imagine a soft golden light surrounding your body. Let it flow through you, from head to toe, filling every cell, calming every thought. That light is your soul's energy. It's your own protection, your connection to the higher dimension where your contract was made. With that energy around you, visualize a golden spiral staircase in front of you. Begin walking down it, step by step. With each step, you go deeper into your own consciousness. Down, 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 slowly and gently. There's no rush. Eventually, you will arrive at a peaceful space, a valley bathed in soft light. This is your inner sanctuary. It might look like a meadow, or a temple, or just feel like a warm, open presence. Don't force any imagery, let it unfold. Here, you'll meet your higher self. This presence might appear as a glowing being, a version of you, or simply as a deep sense of knowing. However it shows up, greet it with love. Mentally say, "I've come to remember. I'm ready to receive the information I need now." Then start asking questions. Why did I choose this family? What is my soul's mission in this life? What am I here to learn? How can I better align with my path? Ask one question at a time. Don't rush. The answers may come as visions, words, a physical sensation, or even just a sudden knowing. If nothing shows up right away, that's okay. Your soul might be opening the door now, and the answer may arrive later, in dreams, in a conversation, in a wave of emotion. The key is trust. Stay open, stay gentle, and stay patient. You can also ask to see specific moments from before this life, when you were planning it. Imagine a round table of beings, your soul tribe, discussing which experiences, people, and challenges you wanted to include. See if you can witness the decisions, the agreements, the enthusiasm your soul had for this journey. Still with me? For those who want to go even further, you can ask to see past lives relevant to your current one. Maybe that unexplained fear of water traces back to a life where you drowned. Maybe your natural gift for teaching stems from lifetimes spent doing exactly that. It might feel like imagination at first, but with practice, you'll start to feel the difference between fantasy and memory. You'll recognize the emotional charge, the intuitive click, the sense of, "Oh, that's real." When your session feels complete, thank your higher self. Begin visualizing yourself walking back up the golden staircase, step by step, returning gently to your regular awareness. Then, before doing anything else, write everything down. Every image, word, sensation. Even the bits that don't make sense. Often, what seems random in the moment becomes crystal clear later. This isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. The more you practice this technique, the clearer your connection becomes. Your soul learns to trust you, to send more, to speak louder. Eventually, you'll find that you don't have to wait for a special meditation to receive guidance. That connection, once activated, stays with you. You can call on it before making big decisions, before entering new relationships, before stepping into a challenge. This is how you begin living not just with your contract, but through it, consciously, intuitively, powerfully. Let's talk about something most people overlook when trying to understand their soul contract, your natural gifts. You know what I'm talking about. That thing you're just naturally good at. Maybe it's calming people down, or seeing patterns others miss. Maybe it's how you always know the right thing to say, or how you can walk into chaos and somehow bring order. Here's the truth. Your gifts are not random. They're not genetic quirks. They are tools your soul specifically chose to bring into this life. Why? Because they're part of your mission. They're here to help you navigate this reality and fulfill your contract. Think of them like spiritual fingerprints. They're the echoes of who you've been and who you came here to be. Let's make it personal for a second. What have people always said you're good at? Not just what you studied or trained for, but the things you do effortlessly. The things that make people go, wow, you were born for this. Maybe you've always had a knack for storytelling, or numbers just make sense to you. Maybe you can walk into a room and instantly sense the mood. Maybe you've been the go-to person for advice since you were a kid. That's not just personality, that's soul memory in action. Here's a little exercise you can try. Think back to when you were a child, before society told you what was useful, profitable, or realistic. What did you love to do just because? Were you always drawing, helping animals, inventing games, taking things apart just to understand how they worked? These childhood interests are powerful indicators of your soul's purpose. Before the world conditioned you, you were naturally tuned into what your soul came here to develop. And here's something else to consider. Your gifts don't always look like talents in the traditional sense. Sometimes they show up as traits, even ones that have been misunderstood or criticized. Maybe you've always been called too sensitive. That sensitivity could actually be a highly tuned empathic ability, or maybe people say you're stubborn. But that determination might be exactly what's needed to hold the line for truth or justice. Maybe you talk a lot, but what if your voice, your words, are part of your mission? What if you're here to be a communicator, a storyteller, a speaker of uncomfortable truths? And get this, your energy around different activities is also a clue. Ever noticed how some things drain you, even if they look successful on the outside, while others light you up, even if they don't seem productive? Maybe you work a full day at your job and feel exhausted, but spend just a couple hours helping someone, creating something, or exploring an interest, and you feel energized. That's your soul speaking. That's alignment. And it's not just about what you do, it's about how people respond to you. What do people consistently come to you for? Do they always ask for advice, help with organizing, emotional support? Do they thank you for making them laugh, or calming them down, or helping them see things clearly? Sometimes our deepest gifts are invisible to us because they're so natural. We assume everyone can do what we do, but they can't. That's your thing. Also pay attention to the stuff that bothers you. Weird, right? But think about it. The injustices that truly make your blood boil, the social issues you can't look away from, the wasted potential in others that breaks your heart. These reactions often point directly to your purpose. If conflict upsets you deeply, maybe you're here to build bridges and heal division. If you can't stand seeing people undervalue themselves, maybe your contract includes helping others step into their power. Even the compliments you shrug off hold clues. You always make people feel heard. You explain things so clearly. You bring such calm energy. Start listening to those compliments. They're not just flattery. They're soul confirmations. Here's what I want you to do right now. Pause this video and drop in the comments. What's one thing you've always done well, without trying? It can be big or small. It can be silly or serious. Just 1 or 2 words. Let's build a thread of real gifts from real souls. Because here's the truth. When you identify your gift, and you begin to use it consciously, you activate a whole new level of your contract. You stop wandering and start walking your path. So, what's your gift? All right. Now let's zoom in on one of the most powerful, and sometimes the most confusing, parts of your soul contract, your relationships. Every single meaningful person in your life. They're not just chance encounters, they're part of your spiritual blueprint. You made agreements with them before you even came here. Think of it like this. Your soul sat down in the pre-life planning room and said, okay, I'm going to need some help growing through love and through challenge. Who's in? And other souls said, I've got you. These are your soul contracts with other people. Let's break down the types. Support souls. These are the people who come into your life like angels in human form. The friend who believes in you when you've lost faith. The teacher who sees something in you that no one else does. The mentor who shows up just when you're about to quit. They don't just appear randomly. They agreed, before you were born, to be part of your path in that exact moment. They're here to remind you of who you are. Challenge souls. Now here's the part most people resist, but it's just as important. Some souls show up not to comfort you, but to stretch you. The boss who pushes all your buttons, the partner who breaks your heart, the sibling you constantly clash with. These souls aren't mistakes. They're not punishments. They're mirrors, catalysts. Contracts you signed saying, "I need to grow here. Help me." It's not always about staying in those relationships. It's about what they trigger. They force you to build boundaries, speak up, walk away, forgive, transform. And once you learn the lesson, you often don't need to repeat the relationship. Family souls. Your family? Yeah, you chose them too. They might have raised you, hurt you, loved you, ignored you, but on a soul level, they're the first classroom you entered. These are often long-term contracts, people you've known across lifetimes. And guess what? Roles can reverse. A parent in this life may have been your child in another. A sibling might have once been your rival. A grandparent could have been your soulmate. Souls swap roles to experience the full spectrum of love, karma, growth, and forgiveness. Soulmates. Now, don't romanticize this too quickly. A soulmate isn't just someone you fall in love with. It's any soul you share deep resonance with and a shared mission of growth. That means your soulmate could be your best friend, a sibling, a teacher, even someone who came into your life for a short but intense season. Soulmate relationships feel deep, familiar, magnetic, but they're not always smooth. In fact, many soulmate connections are built to challenge you to evolve quickly. There's often emotional intensity, vulnerability, and mutual transformation. They love you enough to push you. Twin flames, rare. This is a big concept, and it's often misunderstood. Your twin flame is the other half of your soul essence. It's one soul split in two, incarnated separately, only to reunite when both parts have evolved significantly. These encounters are rare. They're overwhelming, intense, magnetic, and often they don't lead to a lifelong romantic relationship, but to a spiritual explosion that catapults both people into massive growth. If you're wondering if you've met your twin flame, here's the simple answer. If you had, you'd know. So how do you recognize soul contracts in your relationships? Pay attention to the patterns. Who triggers deep reactions in you? Love, anger, grief, joy? Who shows up at turning points in your life? Who forces you to confront something about yourself? Who keeps showing up, no matter how many times you drift apart? These people aren't here by accident. Even the stranger who says something that shifts your mindset. Even the person you meet during a crisis who helps you heal. Even the child who chooses you as their parent. Children always come with soul contracts. They're not here just to be raised. They often bring lessons, healing and awakening for the parent. Some are old souls. Some are soul teachers. Even romantic situationships that seem chaotic may serve a karmic purpose, clearing old patterns, exposing wounds, or pushing you into self-love. And here's something liberating. Not every soul contract is meant to last forever. Some people come in, play their role, and leave. That doesn't mean it failed. It means the contract was fulfilled. When you start seeing relationships this way, as intentional, sacred, and purposeful, you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What was this here to teach me?" That shift changes everything. You go from victim to conscious creator, from resentment to understanding, from pain to wisdom. So ask yourself today, who in your life feels like a soul contract? What have they come to teach you? If your soul contract is the blueprint for your life, then the Akashic records are the library where every version of that blueprint is stored. Think of the Akashic records like a massive, infinite archive of every soul's journey, past, present, future possibilities, parallel lives, everything. Not just your actions, but your thoughts, intentions, lessons, and yes, your soul contracts. It's not some fantasy concept. Many mystics, sages, and spiritual teachers throughout history have referred to it by different names. In Sanskrit, Akasha means ether or space, the subtle field that holds the essence of all creation. These records exist in that energetic layer, each not visible to the physical eye, but absolutely accessible through expanded consciousness. Now here's the cool part. You don't need a psychic or a guru to access your records. You already do it all the time, you just don't realize it. That sudden gut feeling about someone you just met. That strong pull toward a place you've never visited. That's your soul brushing up against its own history. But if you want to access the Akashic records intentionally, to gain clarity about your soul contract, past lives, or spiritual gifts, it starts with a clear intention. Here's how you do it. Step 1. Set a sacred intention. Find a quiet place where you can sit undisturbed for a while. Breathe. Center yourself. Then, mentally declare your purpose. Something like, I open myself to access my Akashic records. I ask to receive only information that serves my highest good and helps me better understand my soul's contract. That's it. That intention is your key. No fancy rituals required. Step 2. Visualize the library of light. Now, in your mind's eye, imagine entering a great library. It might look ancient, cosmic, futuristic, or simply like a blank white room filled with presence. There are no rules. Your subconscious will build it in the way you'll understand best. Visualize being guided to a book or scroll that represents your record. This might appear physically, or it may feel like a vibration, a color, a presence. Let it unfold naturally. Step 3. Ask specific questions. This is where it gets powerful. Start asking your soul questions like, what is my primary mission in this life? What lessons am I here to learn? What gifts have I carried into this incarnation? What karmic patterns am I being asked to heal? What souls have I agreed to meet, and why? Be patient. The answers might not come in words. They could come as images, memories, sensations, or just a sense of inner knowing. And sometimes, the answer won't come during the session. It will show up later, when you least expect it. Step 4. Request to witness. Your soul planning. One incredibly eye-opening thing you can do is ask to see the moment you planned your current life. Visualize yourself as pure light, sitting in a circle with other beings, your guides, soul group, maybe even souls you would meet as family, lovers, friends, or teachers. Watch the conversations, the agreements, the excitement, the purpose behind every hard thing you knew you'd face. It's humbling and healing. You may see why you chose your family, what contracts you made, what shadows you came to heal. You might even catch glimpses of past lives directly connected to current blocks or talents. If you've always had a fear of abandonment, maybe you'll see a life where you were left behind. If you're a natural healer, you might witness lifetimes in temples, clinics, or war zones where you practice that gift again and again. And if you've had a complicated relationship with someone in this life, the records may show you the karmic threads binding you across time. But here's the most important thing. Don't get stuck in the past. The records are not a place for spiritual tourism. They're a tool, a resource to help you understand the present and empower your choices going forward. Your soul isn't interested in nostalgia. It wants evolution. So use what you discover to align with your purpose. To recognize the lessons faster. To activate the gifts you've been carrying all along. And above all, keep a journal. After every session, write down what you saw, felt, heard, even if it doesn't make sense yet. Some of the clearest confirmations will come later in your waking life. Finish every session with gratitude. Say thank you to your higher self, your guides, and the records themselves. That thankfulness is part of the contract too. It opens doors for deeper access in the future. So ask yourself, what are you ready to remember? Now that you've explored the signs, patterns, gifts, relationships, and even the Akashic records, here's the big question. What do you do with all of it? Because knowing your soul contract isn't just about having a cool spiritual theory. It's about how you live. It's about making conscious choices every single day that bring you into deeper alignment with the reason you're actually here. So let's talk about integration, how to take everything you've remembered and turn it into a way of being. Start with self-awareness. From now on, when life throws something at you, good or bad, ask, what's the deeper meaning here? What lesson is being offered? What part of my soul is being stretched right now? That shift in awareness changes everything. Instead of reacting out of fear or habit, you start responding with clarity and trust. You stop blaming the world and start asking, what did my soul come here to learn from this? Tune into your gifts. You've already identified what you're good at. Now take it a step further. How can you use that gift to serve? Every soul contract has a thread of contribution in it. Your gifts aren't meant to be kept to yourself. They're not just for your benefit. They're meant to help others, to raise the collective frequency, to make the world just a little more aligned. And remember, service doesn't mean sacrifice. It doesn't mean burnout. It means doing what lights you up, because it lights others up too. Major decisions, consult your soul. When you're facing a crossroads, career moves, new relationships, big shifts, pause and ask, does this align with my soul's values? Will this help me grow, even if it's hard? Does this feel like a yes in my body and spirit, even if it's a little scary? Use the tools you've learned. Meditate. Ask your higher self. Visit the records. Notice the synchronicities. They'll show up if you ask and pay attention. Watch your resistance. The things you avoid, fear, or keep pushing away often hold the most important keys. Is there a dream you keep shelving? A conversation you know you need to have? A habit you keep repeating even though it drains you? That tension isn't weakness, it's guidance. It's your contract tapping on your shoulder saying, there's something here. Don't look away. Reframe your challenges. What if every painful moment you've experienced was not a detour, but part of the design? The heartbreak, the loss, the failure, the breakdown. Your soul didn't choose easy, it chose meaningful. And many times, that means the very thing that broke you also built you. So instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what part of me was born because of this? That's soul-level transformation. Keep your connection alive. Don't let this be a one-time experience. Your relationship with your soul is daily. Even a few minutes each morning can make a difference. Sit in stillness. Set an intention. Ask for clarity. Listen. Over time, your intuition becomes second nature. You start recognizing guidance not just in meditation, but in traffic, in conversations, in dreams, in gut feelings that keep repeating. And finally, trust the timing. You don't have to figure out your entire contract all at once. You don't need a 5-year soul plan. You just need to stay present and aligned with the next right step. Life will reveal the rest when you're ready. Because here's the ultimate truth. Your soul hasn't forgotten anything. Your higher self is still guiding. Your path is still unfolding. And even when it feels like you're lost, you're not. You're exactly where you need to be to remember the next piece. You didn't forget by accident. You forgot so you could remember, powerfully, consciously, and in your own time. And now, you're remembering. And that changes everything. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to drop a comment below. What's one part of your soul contract you feel you're starting to remember? Let's inspire each other. Let's grow together. And if you haven't already, like this video, subscribe for more spiritual journeys and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next one. Until then, trust the signs. Honor your path and listen to your soul. You wrote this life for a reason. It's time to live it fully.